Hello there, Bahadir, and welcome to the Sentence Guide course. Well done for getting these in, your first essays. My name's Andrew. I'm part of the team here at IELTSpodcast.com with Ben and the others. I'll be going through your essays today and giving you some corrections, some guidance, and some advice. Already, I can see that these are very well structured. Well done for getting the paragraphs in. I can see good use of examples. Wonderful. Well, let's jump in. What I'll do is I'll read through them, and if I think anything could be corrected or sounds better, I'll just run over it. It would be helpful if you could make a note, and then when you go to correct these essays later, you'll have an error list that you can refer to. But here we go. Communication is a basic aspect of relationships, I'd say. You don't need the... Communication is a basic aspect of relationships. Thus, there is currently a contentious argument whether the older members or whether elderly members of the family interact with each other often enough, maybe. You could say that they interact with each other rarely, and that's the problem. But whether they interact rarely is not the problem. So we should say maybe... There is currently a concern in society as to whether elderly members of the family or older members of the family interact with others often enough. The purpose of this essay is to explain why and to what extent I agree with this idea. I would say it is becoming an increasing trend between older family members that they are less eager to communicate with one another. This is because, you don't need the comma there, so you can just say, this is because people generally become isolated and lonely once they reach a certain age. To illustrate, comma, a recent study from International Psychology Association, or the International Psychology Association, indicates that 70% of the elders who are over 60, you don't need the word emotionally, so we can just say, elders who are over 60 feel that they are less important members of society because they are less productive owing to their age. Good. Therefore, I agree that elder members of the family communicate less with one another. Cool. So you've got a good structure, and your little explanatory sentence here was good. As you'll already notice, the only real things I'm pointing out are small errors. The best way to improve these sorts of errors and to stop making them is just to have someone point them out to you, really. Go over them over and over and over again. And then when it comes to proofreading your work in the future, you'll find that you spot these errors much more frequently and you're able to correct them quickly. Because in the grammatical range and accuracy section of the IELTS marking criteria, these are the sorts of things that examiners look for. So, moreover, I totally agree that insufficient communication among senior members of the family is turning into an epidemic. Into is all one word. Into an epidemic. This is due to the fact that old age people are not knowledgeable regarding modern types of communication, comma, which is now the majority of communication, let's say. For instance, an article which has been published in Popular Science magazine demonstrated that 85% of people who are over 60 do not know how to communicate online with their acquaintances via, I would say, social media platforms such as Facebook, Skype or text message, or instant messenger platforms such as Facebook, Skype or text message. Thus, senior members of the family are not visible in our contemporary online communication environment. What a lovely sentence. In conclusion, I agree that elderly family members communicate less frequently, because they feel themselves less important in society, or they feel that they contribute little to society. In addition, I prefer completely to totally. Totally has become a bit of an informal word since America made it that way. So I completely agree that this situation is becoming an epidemic, owing to the poor skills of elders, yeah, that's fine. The poor skills of elders in the use of modern online communication methods. I think the solution for the regenerating of communication habits of elders will be found in the future. Yeah, or I think you could even go so far as to say that it is by its nature a temporary problem. The people there are a limited number of elderly people, and it's ever decreasing, who do not know about the internet and technology. But no, that was great. Well done for that being your first essay. Like I said, the only real mistakes were small ones. So this is your second task 2. We have the question: doing enjoyable activities with a child. Does it develop better skills and imagination than reading? So, raising children is of great importance, or paramount importance. Either's good. Thus, there is currently a contentious argument as to whether children can improve skills and mental abilities with entertaining activities rather than reading alone. So just smooth that out a bit. Yeah, I think the thing with writing is to say what you need to say with as few words as possible. When writers write afterwards, they will edit their work, and they will edit ruthlessly. So they will trim it down as far as it can go. Anything that's unnecessary goes. And I just feel like there are a few too many words in that sentence that don't need to be there. So thus, there is currently a contentious point or contentious argument as to whether children can improve skills and abilities with entertaining activities or with fun activities rather than reading alone. Just by chopping a couple out, we make it a lot more readable. I totally agree with the statement, because playing video games, I would say video games, because if you were to say visual games, I wouldn't know what that meant, so I assume you mean video games. And doing sports are more beneficial for some aspects than reading. One of the important reasons for me is that playing on games consoles take an important role in children's development. This is because these visual games, that's fine. So once you've said games consoles and video games, if you then refer to the visual aspects of the game, I know what you're talking about. This is because these visual games potentially improve active skills and spatial awareness of the children. Which cannot easily be trained by reading, or cannot be trained by reading. To illustrate, a recent study from the University of Harvard, V not W, demonstrated that children who play games on PlayStation can develop 20% better three-dimensional perspective. So when the convention with numbers is to do one or the other. So here I would have written the word 3, because you've gotten the word dimensional. To trim it down to 3 and D, 3D is fine. But to do this is to mix conventions. And this actually looks as if it's referring to chemistry. This is a chemistry convention. But yeah, so three-dimensional perspective than those who read books instead. Therefore, spending time with PlayStation, or spending time on the PlayStation, which is considered entertainment, might provide better mental skills to the children than reading, which does not. Or maybe just trim that off. So therefore, spending time on the PlayStation, which is considered entertainment, might provide better mental skills than reading. So again, just trimming a couple of words out. It's a bit chunky, but you use everything appropriately, but I think you just try to use a little bit too much. to trim it down a little bit, I'd say. Another point is that sports activities must not be underestimated as successful skill developers. Yep. This is due to the fact that physical activities such as football, basketball or swimming might be strongly supportive for the children's physical abilities and their competitive talents. Right? According to performance tests which were conducted by the City Council, indicated physically active school children have a better understanding of, I'd say, social interactions or interpersonal skills, and stronger physical structure, or let's say and better physical health. Understanding of social structure or better interpersonal skills, and physical health. Yeah, better interpersonal skills and physical health, and then it's nice and than the children who prefer only to read books. Thus, performance activities are of significance for developing children's bodily skills. There's a better way to say that. What is it? Physical abilities, I would say, is better. Physical abilities, and the concepts of social competition. Yeah, fine. In conclusion, I strongly agree that children can develop, minus the E, stronger talents and mental abilities doing joyful activities. This is because PlayStation consoles such as the PlayStation can develop better spatial awareness, and sports can improve children's physical and social skills. It is predicted that some enjoyable activities will combine with inactive lectures in school environment for children's development. I would say you could use the word incorporated here. It is predicted that more enjoyable activities will be incorporated with more traditional methods such as lectures in school environment for the sake of children's development or for children's development. Either of those is good. But well done. Normally people's problem in their first essays is hitting the word count, is writing enough. Your problem is having written just slightly too much. So trim it down ever so slightly. But what you should do now is take that error list, go through and correct these essays, include the error list, the corrected essays, and the 2 new essays in one email and send it over to us, and we'll get you moved on with the course. Well done for submitting these, man. These are really, really, really good, and I hope to read your next ones very, very soon. See you soon.